Welcome to Stories Junction. Let's get started with today's story. I still remember the exact way Sarah looked the morning she left for that girls' weekend. She was framed in the doorway of our house in Richmond, pulling her roller bag, wearing a bright coral sundress and those new white sneakers she'd ordered online. Hair blown out, sunglasses already perched on her head like she was headed to a magazine shoot. 4 days in Virginia Beach, she said, flashing that easy smile. Just me, Nicole, and Vanessa. God knows we need it. I leaned down, kissed her cheek. Drive safe. Have fun. She gave me a quick squeeze, too quick, and bounced down the steps to Nicole's waiting SUV. I stood there waving like an idiot until the taillights disappeared. Nothing felt off. Not yet. We'd both been slammed, me with overtime, her with some new hospital contract, and 4 days apart sounded harmless. She deserved the ocean air. Hell, I did too. Sunday evening she came home different. The screen door creaked, she stepped inside, and the energy in the room shifted like someone had opened a freezer. She dropped her bag, gave our daughter Ava a distracted hug, muttered something about sand in her shoes, and went straight upstairs to shower. An hour later she drifted into the kitchen wearing my old navy sweatshirt even though it was 80 degrees out. How was it? I asked, stirring pasta for Ava. Great. Exhausting drive though. She grabbed a water bottle and immediately angled her phone away from me. The screen kept lighting up, ping ping ping. Sarah had never been the type to guard her phone like state secrets. The little changes started stacking up fast. New lace bras I didn't recognize. A sudden obsession with late-night debriefs with Nicole that made her laugh in a way I hadn't heard in months. One night over takeout she slipped, we found this amazing raw bar right on the boardwalk, then caught herself, eyes flicking to me. I mean, Nicole and I were just walking the boards and smelled it. Earlier she'd sworn they never left the Airbnb, too much wine and gossip to bother with the tourist strip. I just nodded, took another bite of lo mein and filed it away. That same week I opened our banking app and saw the damage, a $180 bar tab at some place called the Drift Inn, definitely not the Airbnb kitchen, 2 entrees at a steakhouse she'd never mentioned, and, clear as day on the receipt thumbnail, someone ordered an old-fashioned. Sarah gags at the smell of bourbon that I closed the app, poured myself a drink I actually liked, and sat on the back porch until the stars came out. Not raging. Not crying. Just wide awake. If something was rotting under the surface, I wasn't going to kick the door down like a jealous teenager. I'd wait. I'd watch. And the truth always leaks out eventually, drop by drop, until the whole dam breaks. Little did I know the next drop was coming at the company family picnic, and it was going to hit like a brick. 2 weeks after the beach trip, Riverside Medical Group threw its annual Family Fun Day at the big sports park out near Short Pump. Sarah insisted we go. It'll look good, she said, which wasn't the way normal people talked about bounce houses and snow cones, but I let it slide. Ava was thrilled, so we loaded up. Sarah spent 45 minutes picking the outfit, white jeans that looked painted on, off-the-shoulder top, hair flat-ironed to a shine. She barely spoke to me in the car, just thumbed through her phone, smirking at whatever was blowing it up. The second we walked through the gate, her coworkers swarmed her like she was the main act. She laughed too loud, touched forearms, tossed her hair. Then I saw him. Blake Brennan. Tall, gym-built, always wearing that smug little half-smile like he'd already won the day. Company polo stretched across his chest, Ray-Bans hooked in the collar. When his eyes found Sarah, something electric passed between them. Quick, but not quick enough that I hung back with Ava near the cotton candy stand and watched the show that a minute later Blake strolled over with his wife, Megan, and their kid Connor. Megan's smile never reached her eyes. She shook my hand like she was measuring the temperature of my soul, then glanced at Sarah, then at Blake, then back to me. Message received. Ryan, right? Blake said, pumping my hand too hard. Sarah's told me so much about you. Only the embarrassing stuff, I hope, I answered. Sarah jumped in fast. Obviously, Blake. Don't scare him. We stood there in that awkward grown-up circle while the kids ran off. Megan finally spoke, soft enough only I could hear. Did Sarah have fun on her girls' weekend? She said it was perfect. Megan gave a tight exhale. Funny. Blake had a last-minute conference down in Virginia Beach that same weekend. Weird coincidence, huh? I didn't answer. Didn't have to. Her eyes said she already knew the punchline. Later, when Ava dragged me to the obstacle course, Megan fell into step beside me. I'm not crazy, she said under her breath. And neither are you. That was all. She walked away before I could reply. On the drive home, Sarah chattered nonstop about potato sack races and how Blake's team dominated tug-of-war. I nodded along, both hands on the wheel, letting her dig the hole deeper with every word. 3 nights later, while I was cutting Ava's chicken nuggets into star shapes, my phone buzzed with a number I didn't know. "This is Megan Brennan. Can we meet?" Somewhere quiet that I typed back, "Tomorrow. 10 a.m. Brew House on Pattison. Corner booth." She was already there when I walked in, gripping her coffee like it was the only thing holding her together. "Straight to it, I hired a PI 3 weeks ago," she said. "Blake's done this before. I forgave him once. This time I wanted proof before I burned my life down." She slid a plain manila folder across the table. Inside were 8x10s that turned my stomach cold. Sarah and Blake, Friday night of the girls' trip, arm in arm walking into the Cavalier Hotel. Sarah laughing up at him, the way she used to laugh at me. Blake's hand resting low on her back, guiding her through the lobby doors like he'd done it 100 times. There were more, the two of them on the boardwalk the next morning, sharing a coffee. A shot of them checking out Sunday, Sarah leaning into him while he paid the bill. Megan watched my face. "I wasn't going to show you. But at the picnic. You already knew, didn't you?" "I suspected," I said. My voice sounded calmer than I felt. "I'm not ready to nuke my marriage yet," she whispered. "I need more than pictures. Patterns. Messages. Something bulletproof." I closed the folder. "Then we get it. Together." We shook on it, two near strangers bound by the same betrayal. No tears, no drama. Just a quiet pact that I walked out into the bright morning feeling the first real weight lift off my chest. Because now I wasn't hunting ghosts anymore, that I had a partner. And the real hunting was about to begin. The next month was surgical. Megan and I never met in person again, too risky. We built a shared, encrypted folder. Every night after Ava went to bed, I uploaded whatever new crumbs Sarah dropped, screenshots of her late meetings, the sudden password on her phone, the $89 Uber receipt at 1:12 a.m. to an address 20 minutes away that definitely wasn't Nicole's house. Megan fed me Blake's side, fake client dinners, mileage reimbursements for trips that never happened, a second phone he thought she didn't know about. We cross-referenced everything. Dates lined up like dominoes. Sarah started coming home later and later, claiming some new hospital rollout. She'd walk in flushed, hair mussed, smelling like a cologne I didn't own. I'd kiss her hello, taste the lie on her lips and say nothing. Then the morning sickness hit. She tried to hide it, rushing to the bathroom with a faucet blasting, blaming bad sushi or stress migraines. I'd hear her retching through the door and just keep making Ava's breakfast like nothing was wrong. One Thursday I took the trash out and spotted the little white stick buried under tissues. 2 pink lines. Clear as a neon sign that I bagged it, sealed it, and locked it in the fire safe with the photos and the GPS logs. The math was brutal. We hadn't been intimate in almost 9 weeks, and even then it had been quick, distant, lights-off obligation intimate. This baby wasn't mine. That night I booked a room at the Sure Stay off I-64, the same dump Sarah's navigation history kept pinging. I checked in an hour early, left my door cracked, phone on record. 7:51 p.m. Sarah strutted through the side entrance in a dress I'd never seen, short, black, cut down to Tuesday. Hair curled, lips red. She looked like a stranger. 7:54 p.m. Blake followed, baseball cap pulled low, but not low enough. They took the elevator together. Room 212, directly beneath mine. The ceiling was so thin I heard the deadbolt click, the low laugh, Sarah's voice floating up clear as day. God, I needed this. 4 days wasn't enough. Then the bed started creaking in a rhythm I used to know by heart that I recorded 23 minutes. Enough of her moans, enough of him calling her baby, enough to make any judge's stomach turn. Then I packed up, drove home, and was snoring on the couch when she slipped in at 11:47 smelling like hotel soap and someone else's sweat. Rough night. I mumbled, eyes half open. Brutal, she sighed. This project is killing me. I just pulled the throw blanket higher and smiled into the dark. 2 days later she announced she was spending the weekend at her sister Tara's to clear her head. Same song, different verse that I looked up from my coffee. Cool. Ava's got a sleepover. I'll come with you. Been too long since I've seen Tara. The flicker of panic in her eyes was delicious, gone in half a second, but I caught it. Sure, she said, voice a little too bright. That'll be nice. We both knew what was coming. She just didn't know I was bringing the whole damn slideshow. The drive to Tara's townhouse in Mechanicsville was 43 minutes of pure silence. Sarah kept her phone face down on her thigh, screen still flashing like a strobe. Every time it lit up, she tilted it farther away from me. I just drove, windows down, spring air whipping through, letting her stew. Tara opened the door with her usual big sister energy, hugging Sarah like she'd been gone for years instead of living 20 miles away. She waved at me, oblivious. Come on in, you two. I've got wine chilling. Sarah slipped into performance mode instantly, laughing too loud, helping set the table, telling Tara some story about work drama. I watched it like a nature documentary. Tara ran out for ice cream around 8. The second her taillights vanished, I killed the TV. Sarah. Living room. Now. She froze in the kitchen doorway, wine glass halfway to her lips. What's wrong? Sit. Saturday I set my laptop on the coffee table, cabled it to Tara's smart TV, and hit play. Slide 1, Sarah and Blake Friday night, Cavalier Hotel lobby, his hand on the small of her back. Slide 2, the two of them Saturday morning, sharing a laugh over coffee on the boardwalk. Slide 3, receipt thumbnails, bar tabs, steakhouse for 2. Slide 4, GPS pins glowing red on the sure stay off I-64, same nights she was cramming for the presentation. Slide 5, the 23-minute audio waveform. I let 10 seconds play, her voice breathy and desperate, saying Blake's name like a prayer. Sarah's face went the color of old paper. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Ryan, I set the pregnancy test, still in its sealed bag on the table between us like a loaded gun. Non-invasive paternity test is already scheduled for next week, I said, calm as reading the weather. But we both know what it's going to say. Her hands flew to her stomach, protective, terrified. It was a mistake. Stress. You were always working. I felt invisible. Save it for your therapist. Or your lawyer. Doesn't matter to me anymore. I slid the divorce petition across the table. My attorney had prepared it weeks ago. Every page tabbed for signature. Sign. We do this clean, or we do this ugly. Your call. Right then the front door opened. Tara walked in with 2 pints of Ben & Jerry's and stopped dead. The photos were still cycling on the TV behind me. Tara's eyes went from the screen to Sarah to the pregnancy test and back to Sarah. Tell me this isn't what I think it is. Sarah couldn't even look at her. She just folded forward, face in her hands, shoulders shaking with silent, ugly sobs. I closed the laptop. Tara, I'm filing Monday. Sarah's moving out. We'll let the lawyers fight over the rest. Tara dropped the ice cream on the entry table like it burned her. Get out of my house, she whispered to Sarah. Both of you just get out. Sarah signed the papers in Tara's driveway under the motion light, hand trembling so hard the pen skipped. I took the pages, folded them once, and tucked them into my jacket. She looked up at me, mascara streaking. I hate you for making me the villain. No, I said, opening my car door. You did that all on your own. I drove home alone. For the first time in months, the passenger seat stayed empty, and the air felt clean. Monday morning the papers were filed. By Wednesday the lab had the prenatal paternity results. 0% probability I was the father. I scanned the single sheet, emailed it to my attorney, and never looked at it again. Megan moved faster than I did. She dropped the full PI dossier on Riverside Medical's HR desk the same week. Blake was escorted out Friday afternoon, badge clipped, box of personal items in his arms, whispering this is bullshit, while security watched. Sarah got the call Monday, indefinite suspension pending investigation. She came home that night, eyes swollen, voice small. They're saying I falsified travel. They're talking termination. I handed her a glass of water. Sounds about right. She stared at me like I was a stranger who'd stolen her life. Court was almost boring. Sarah's lawyer tried the emotional abandonment angle, mine countered with hotel receipts, audio files, and the paternity report. The judge barely let her finish the sentence before ruling. House mine, primary custody mine, child support from Sarah, once she had income again, supervised visitation until she proved 6 months of stability. When it was over she chased me into the hallway. You destroyed me, she hissed. I looked her dead in the eye. You handed me the matches. I just struck one. 6 weeks later Blake ghosted. Sold his truck for cash, left Megan, got the house and a promotion, and last I heard he was bouncing between buddies' couches in Colorado, pretending Virginia never happened. Sarah's termination letter came the same week she started showing. She moved into a 1-bedroom off Jeff Davis Highway, the kind of place with bars on the windows and laundry in the hallway that smells like old fryer grease. The text started then, long rambling apologies at 2 a.m., then accusations, then begging for money for the baby. I kept every one, replied only through lawyers. She gave birth alone in September. Sent me one photo, exhausted face, greasy hair, tiny boy with Blake's nose. I saved it to the evidence folder and didn't answer. A full year rolled by. Ava and I built a new rhythm, school runs in the morning, soccer on Saturdays, pancakes on Sundays. The house stayed quiet in the good way. No slammed doors, no secret smiles at phone screens, no wondering whose cologne was on my wife's neck. One Friday we drove down to Nag's Head, just the two of us. Windows down, music loud, Ava singing off-key to whatever played on the kid station. We passed the Virginia Beach exit and I felt nothing. No twist in my gut, no flash of anger. Just highway and ocean ahead. My phone buzzed at a stoplight. Unknown number. "It's me," Sarah said when I answered. Her voice was thin, cigarette rough. A baby cried in the background. "Can I see Ava more than once a week? I miss her." "I'm trying, Ryan. I really am." "You know the rules," I said. "Show up on time, stay clean, keep a job 6 months. Court order doesn't bend because you're lonely." Silence. Then a broken laugh. "You won. Happy now?" "I'm not happy," I said. "I'm free. There's a difference." She hung up without another word. I tossed the phone into the cup holder, merged back onto the highway, and turned the music up louder. Ava hooped out the window at the seagulls diving over the dunes. The lies were finally behind us, buried under a year of receipts, court stamps, and one quiet life I'd fought to reclaim. And ahead of us, nothing but open road and the sound of my daughter laughing in the salt wind.